Hello there, lovely people, it's Alex from Nintendo Life here, and yes, you've caught me going downstairs. You know what that means. Maybe you don't. Yes, today we're going to be looking at some hardware, and it's some hardware that really requires a tabletop, so we're going to be going back down to the kitchen because we're looking at this. This is the Hori Flex. This is a device that you plug into your Switch, and it allows you to use a ludicrous number of inputs in order to control a game. You know, from buttons and sticks and things like that. And they all go in these ports down here. We'll be looking at it in more detail in a moment. It's got buttons on the front and everything like that, and it's designed with accessibility in mind, if that wasn't immediately obvious, or if you didn't already know about it. This is a really cool little device. Well, I say little, it's actually quite chonking. And yes, this was sent to me by the UK distributor, along with some buttons. Thank you very much for that. And we're just going to take a look at it. But before we do, I do want to make a few things absolutely 100% clear. First of all, as an able-bodied person, I am just flat out not qualified to review this formally, so please do not take this as a formal review. We're just going to be having a look at it. I do not have the experience or the understanding in order to be able to pass judgment on this in the same way that I have done with other controllers in the past and other hardware and things like that. I do have some thoughts that I will be sharing, but once again, I really don't have the understanding or experience, so take everything I say, positive or negative, with a pinch of salt. And number two, although I will be exploring this controller and using it in a variety of different ways, I am not trying to suggest for a moment that I understand what the people for whom this may be useful for go through on a daily basis, nor am I trying to emulate them. I just want to show the different ways in which this controller can allow people to play video games, and I want to do so with the utmost respect in every regard. But anyway, that's more than enough waffling, let's dive right into things. So first of all, a brief overview of the unit itself. As you can see, it's got buttons on the top here, which are already a little bit fingerprinty, that's on me. And the face buttons include the standard D-pad directions. You got B, A, Y, X, L, R. You got plus, minus, home, screenshot, and a mode button, which we'll get onto in a moment. But the big feature of this really is the inputs down here. Now, as you can see, these are all lots of little jacks, and if you think they look a lot like headphone jacks, that's because they basically are. There are myriad different input devices that will work with this being one of them. This again came from the UK distributor, thank you again. This is just a simple button, and it allows you to press it anywhere, and it does the button press. And as you can see on the other end, that's a headphone jack in it, and it just plugs in there. And now this button is ZL. Simple. It plugs into the Switch via USB, but there are also USB sockets on the side here. In fact, I can show you. Why not I do that? Hey, it's a little bit dark, but you can tell that's USB. And as you can probably guess, these are for the left stick and the right stick. And you can just use... There are various different products out there specifically designed for products like this that are essentially kind of joysticks, and you can plug them in and they're compatible, provided they are listed as one of the compatible devices. Because this is a little bit picky with the sticks that it allows. Various standard Hori controllers do work in this, like the Hori Pad and the Hori Pad Mini. You can just plug them in, and then if you plug it in there, the left stick will control the left stick in the game, which is pretty useful. But unfortunately, things like the Pro Controller, they don't work. Even if you plug it in USB-C to USB-A, it doesn't recognize it. It doesn't do anything, which that seems like a real shame, especially for the official Nintendo controller. I would have liked to see compatibility with that. I don't have any Hori controllers, unfortunately. I think I had some, but I gave them away. Thankfully, though, this retro bit, for some reason, this works. I couldn't tell you why, but I tell you what, it saved me having to go out and buy another controller. One area that I believe is slightly lacking on this front is the fact that you can't map these or any of the buttons to the left stick. You have to use a stick for a left stick, which makes sense for a lot of games, but there are some games for which it would be absolutely fine in order to use like essentially a digital emulated left stick. And I'm fairly certain that's the sort of thing that could be done in software, so that's something that I'd really like to see considered in the future. But again, take everything I say with a pinch of salt! And lastly, the mode button up here. This allows you to switch between various modes. I'll plug it in so you can see the light. Ooh, illuminated. And pressing the mode button allows you to switch between various modes. And using a companion app on Windows, you can set various things such as the sensitivity of sticks, dead zones. You can also set it so that if you press B, it presses and holds it for a duration or something like that. Loads of different options to really sort of open this thing up. And that's really good. It's not something I've explored enormously, but it's really good that it's there and it looks really powerful. which is good. But I know you lot, you want to see how this thing plays. So here we are. I'm at a bit of a funky angle because it allows you to see as much as possible. We'll have capture going on as well, so you can see live footage of me playing the video games. And also, because of all this, you know what that means.
It's good old camera B.
Yes, we've got camera B looking at this. I think it's still looking at it. You know, I'm going to double check. That's better. So we're going to start things off. I'm just going to use this very simply, just with the face buttons as it is. Essentially like an arcade stick to show how that works. So we'll go with Sonic Mania because it's a nice, simple one. Can't do Hori 3D because D-pad inputs, whilst they work, it kind of just shuffles you forward very slightly. But we will have a go with that with the old stick. I'm going to look at a variety of different games, as many as I can reasonably, but understandably, the simpler the game, the simpler it'll be to control, because the simpler it is to control. Oh, I can stick my headphones on. It is a mess of cables around here right now. Okay, so very simply, it just functions exactly as you would expect. And the buttons, they're kind of loud, but that's fine. They're good and responsive. They feel, hey, I still don't get down. I'm still expecting it to be down like on a keyboard, which is, more sort of here than directly down. Alex, pay attention to the game. But yeah, as I was about to say, they feel very much like arcade buttons, to be honest. They're good and clicky and responsive, a decent amount of travel, allows you to really sort of slap down on them without fear that they're going to get damaged or anything like that, which is nice. Get up there, Sonic-y boy. So this is all well and good, but this is, you know, one of the... For goodness sake. But this is one of the simplest ways in which you can use this device. And it's designed to be as open as reasonably possible. And so, hey, does that mean I can supersonic? Oh, I have to jump and I'm pressing Y. No wonder it's not working. It's been a long time since I played this game, to the point that I'm going in the wrong direction. So let's pause that for a moment, and I know I'm supersonic, which is going to help me tremendously, but let's try something different. So let's get one of these buttons. I'm just going to stick this in A, even though I think that should be green, but you know, the colors don't really matter. I mean, you can assign them as well as you like. It's up to you. I've got 4 different colors, 8 buttons, which I don't think I'm going to be able to properly get my head around. So one of the methods that you could, in theory, use is you could control... You know what? Plug in the controller. That's a good idea, Alex. Is essentially using this controller one-handed with a stick like this. And as I say, I'm supersonic right now, so this is going to be considerably easier. In fact, it's slightly more difficult because I'm not used to moving this quickly. And I didn't get the thing. But let's see what this is like in an actual level. That's a good idea, isn't it? So by using the controller as a method of pushing down the button, and the buttons are ridiculously reliable. Like, as I said before, you can push them on any part of the surface with not really any great force, and they activate, which means this kind of, way, speedy shoes. That's not going to be detrimental whatsoever to my gaming skills. As you can see, apart from that hit there, I'm doing fine. And again, 2D platformers are going to be one of the easiest things to control with this thing. But 2D platformers are great fun. And I think this is a perfectly valid way to play the game. And I'm doing far better than I think I reasonably would have thought I could have done. Get up there. And even things like the spin dash, it's kind of semi-muscle memory at this point. It's been a long time since I played Mania, but even so, it's impressive. It's really impressive. And of course, I can just use the stick in one hand, button in the other, and it's, you know, it all perfectly works. You can even use the buttons. They're not specifically designed for it, I don't think, these ones. But you can use them as foot pedals. You know, you can get actual foot pedals, which no doubt would be more suitable. But this works absolutely fine. I'm guessing you can't really see this. I tell you what, it's time for camera B, isn't it? I apologize in advance for my feet. But I can just use my left hand. I can use my right... I'm using my right hand, in fact, aren't I? And, you know, it's a bit bizarre. And as I say, these really aren't designed to be used as foot pedals, so they take a little bit of sort of like finesse, and you can die, but it works. It works. You know, it's quite a bizarre sensation. I'm gonna need those rings in order to be able to play a game like this, any game, using a foot, and it's kind of weirdly elegant in a way. I mean, my gameplay isn't, but then again, I'm not practiced with this. I'm gonna need those. And after a while, you just kind of, I suppose, accept it and get used to it. It is genuinely baffling how sort of straightforward it can be. That's not gonna work, Alex. Get over there. That's more like it. That wasn't supposed to happen. Good old clipping. Take that, Mr. Eggman. But that's a simple game. What about if we do something a little bit more complicated that admittedly has already got a lot of accessibility options in it? You know I'm talking about Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Oh, incidentally, something that I forgot to mention is that, yeah, I found out how these buttons work. I imagine, in theory, if you were handy with a soldering iron, you could hook pretty much any button up to this. It basically just completes a circuit, like so many buttons. It's not looking for a specific signal, but I tell you what, let's go with the home button just because it's nice and obvious when it's going to happen. So this is just a stereo cable. It's just a headphone cable. Well, not necessarily headphone, but it's an audio cable. And by bridging two parts, it just works. It's not, this isn't super reliable, but this isn't how it's meant to be used. I'm just using this for demonstration purposes. Even works if you lick it. That I unironically really like, because it opens things up so much. It's so open. As I say, you could make any switch you like. Something custom made if you needed to, and provided you got the jack on the end. I mean, that was a stereo jack. These are monaural. It still worked. You just had to bridge the right two contacts. It's brilliant, honestly. Right, so for Mario Kart 8, I'm gonna try something a little bit different. I tell you what I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try steering with my feet. So it's just a case of plugging the buttons into the left and right sections, getting them set up down here in the appropriate places. Am I gonna be able to do that? This needs a new battery. I'm just gonna navigate the menus with this. We're just gonna do time trial to keep things nice and simple. Okay, so I have a feeling it's not an option in time trials for some reason. It's not a feature I've really used. So yeah, I'm a bit confused by that. So let's hope that this sorts it out. I'm doing 200cc because I'm an idiot. Steering seems to be working fine. Can I tilt controls? Auto accelerate on! Now we're talking. Right, continue. Okay, here we go. So now just purely with my feet. It's working fine! I mean, this is a nice, sort of straightforward course. I'm gonna see how well I do just without using any items or anything like that. Keep it as simple as I possibly can. Ooh, am I gonna be able to make it round? Ooh, not really, but kind of. I could set up other buttons to do the other things. I just want to try as many different ways as possible. And this seems to be doing well. I'm second. That's fantastic. That's actually fantastic. Hang on, did I just get a boost? Oh, I must have got a boost from someone else. For a second I thought I'd somehow done a mini turbo, but I really don't think I did. I could set up another button for mini turbos. And items. You know what? Let's step this up a gear. Okay, so now it's quite a number of wires coming out here now. Now I'm gonna have to kind of hover my feet as best I can. But let's continue. So now I should be able to steer like this. Auto accelerate's turned off. I must have pressed R by accident. There we go. Okay, so auto accelerate on, and now I can drift around corners if I want to. I can use items. I'm not going to drift around that because I usually end up getting something wrong with that. Let's go around there, and I'm drifting. Ah! Funnily enough, I'm having to relearn how to play the game ever so slightly because... Oh, yeah. Socks would have been a good idea. It's kind of sticking to my foot, but I can do tricks. Oh, it's wrong way, Isabel. I have kind of complicated things, but I came fifth on my first attempt using only my feet. I mean, a big thing is that Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is already so accessible. It's really good. I really love how accessible it is. It's great. Come on. Just realised I'm not pressing any of the buttons that would progress. One thing that is ever so slightly annoying is the ports being at the front, because, you know, if you've got a load of things coming out and you want to use this at the same time, they're kind of in the way. But again, As I said, please take everything I say with a pinch of salt, because this is not designed for me. So let's do a slightly more difficult course. You know what, let's get another button, actually. And it was all yellow. So now let's see how I get on. Let's do something relatively straightforward. I am on 200cc. Why don't we do Mario Circuit? What's this in? That's in ZR. So let's just do, I said Mario Circuit. I meant Moo Moo Meadows, because I like Moo Moo Meadows. Okay, so let's see what I can do now with this setup. So I should have auto accelerate still on. And I believe this should allow me to jump, and that's use my horn, yep. So now, way! Bit early on that front. 200cc, baby. And yeah, just one hand. One hand using different parts to do different things. Let's just go. Ah! The drifting is something that definitely takes a little bit of getting used to. But I'm still in first place. I don't think anyone can argue with that. Oh, you little sausage, come back here. I bit my horn at you, madam. Now, naturally, obviously, a lot of this is because I am familiar with these games. That absolutely can't be overstated. You know, it may have been a long time since I played them, but I have played these games for, you know, sort of dozens, hundreds of hours in certain instances. No! Yes! Finish! All that with one hand. Genuinely incredible. Okay, let's try something different. I'll tell you what, let's try a more complicated 2D platformer. I have already tried this one out. It's not simple, but it's doable. Need to rearrange some of these buttons, so I think B is gonna be absolutely required, because that's jump. Always important in a platformer game to jump. Somebody make a platformer game where you don't have to jump. It's probably already been done. And I think Y is going to be important as well. And therefore, let's try it with a stick. Why not? Let's try it with a stick. So it's a bit of a mess of cables. But they are a very good length. Come on, Eukarand or Laylee. Let's get this impossible lair on the go. You know what? I think I'm actually going to get a foot switch as well for... If I say a foot switch, a switch I'm going to use with my foot. It's not a foot switch, because I believe I'm going to need to do some ground pounds at some point, and I believe I can do that with ZR. Let's find out. So that should be jump. Oh, that's lick. That's even more important. I think we can get by without ground pounding. So let's jump. At least we can jump. Might need to rearrange that there. Why not? Let's go in here. I have to hold X just to go in for some reason. So this is a relatively simple level, as you'll no doubt see. I've already got, oh no, it hasn't saved. It has not saved my, my settings. You know what, let's just go with it. I have tried this prior, and because again, this game is pretty damn good for accessibility. You got things like prolong the enjoyment by slowing down time for an entire chapter. That's genuinely great! Because although this level is not going to be, hey, cartoony! This level is not going to be, it's not going to seem too complex. It's literally the first level, so you know. Oh, that was silly. Come here, yeah, hey, Laylee. There we go. Again, every time I've picked this up, not the game, the unit. Every time I've picked this up, I've been more and more impressed. There we go. Take that. I forgot they've got 2 hits because I'm one of those fools that thinks a game is better when it's harder. Laylee! No! Oh dear. But yeah, every time I pick this up, I'm impressed with what can be done with it. And the flexibility. I'm probably not even tapping 1/10 of the options. I mean, as much as anything, I'm limited with the inputs that I've got here. But it's so broad. It just opens things up so much. Oh, I need a Laylee Bell. Was there a Laylee Bell back there? Sounds a bit like Baby Bell. I am actually playing it. You know, a lot of the time you don't need ground pounding. You need it every so often. But that's fine, you know, as an occasional button. I've got this far in the first level without it. I'm fairly certain when I tried this out before, I was in one of the later levels, and there was no problem with that. Even the time platforms. I had a problem with that snail, though, apparently. Laylee! Hey, got her back. Ah! Come back to me. Oh, I'm turning into Treebeard. And that's the first level done with one hand, one arm. Well, and a foot. What kind of a Cuphead fan would I be if I didn't at least give it a go? I know I keep harping on about it, but the beauty of this is that it really is just so modular. On the fly, I'm able to change B to A, and I need to press L and R. Of course I do. In fact, I'm fairly certain I need B's jump, isn't it? Paid the price. This is a cracking game, it really is. So we got jump here, fire here. I should be able to do okay. That's A's down there, Alex. Ah, camera B, start recording again. Ah. Oh, blimey. It's been a long time since I played this game. Oh, I've got the Homer. That should actually make things considerably simpler. Come along now, I've only got 1 HP left. And I can't use my supers, or can I? I can dash! Of course, dashing is so important. I can do it with my foot if I like. I might try and... Ah! Oh, not you, not you! I don't like this one. Is it apparent? I've got to be honest. I might as well just keep that there. I don't need... That was really badly timed. I don't need to do anything except just hold it down all the time. When are you not going to want to fire in Cuphead, except for maybe in some very, very, very specific circumstances? And bear in mind, I'm also playing on normal right now. I could play on easy. This is so much simpler. Oh, gonna regret this. No, I'm okay. Come on, candy corn. We don't really get candy corn in this country. Maybe you can buy it. I've never seen it, though. Whoa! Oh. It works, though! For God's sake, I can play Cuphead like this. I think let's round off with Untitled Goose Game, because I love Untitled Goose Game, and I think, well, as much as anything, I just slightly, I just want to play it. So why not? Why not? Come on, House. Come on. Single player. So let's start a new game. I can't remember whether you can use... yeah, come on out, you come. Whether you can use the D-pad or not, we'll find out in just a moment. And then I'll... No, you cannot, so I am going to have to use the stick here. As I don't know whether I mentioned, there's a right stick on the side. Oh, and also the buttons on this will do nothing. It's literally just the stick. ZL to bend forward. So have I got... No, that's ZR. I can just flap like a goose. Which is still good, not gonna lie. Actually, thinking about it, if I'm not gonna be using this, I can put it to one side and just focus on the tagliatelle in front of me. Press A to use your beak. I'm gonna need A. Let's take that off Y. I can't remember if we need Y. That's good. That's good. Let's go over here. Run with B. Bend down to pick things up off the ground and then press A, like this can. Let's try that, shall we? So bend down. Isn't that A? That's A. So we need to lean down and get that. There we go. And then, I can't remember if I... Drop that. There we go. Now the gate's going to fall open. I love this game. ZR to spread your wings. Do you ever need to do that? I don't think I ever did. Well, no, I did. I did it a lot, but only for fun. Okay, let's make sure this cement... Or is it soil? I imagine it's probably soil or fertilizer, actually, isn't it? Right, important to listen to the radio. I'm not going to play too much of this. Because if I start, it's going to be hard for me to stop. So we'll do a bit of the garden. Leave me alone, I'm a goose. Let's turn that on again. I got his keys! Let's go somewhere. Let's get it. Bring him in here. Hey, I got the groundskeeper wet. That'll teach you to try and live your life. Bada bing, bada boom. Get into the garden. And... This game's just fun to play. And you watch, he's gonna appear. And... he can't get his keys. These are my keys. My keys. He can't get in. He has to go around the back, I think. I can't remember. It's been a long time since I played this. But there you have it. That is the Hori Flex. It is, to its name, extremely flexible. You can do so much with this. I genuinely think it is absolutely, absolutely wonderful. I love it. But at the end of the day, I don't really have a use for this, like, beyond novelty. You know, at the end of the day, I don't need to control games like this. I am currently in talks with people, and this will be donated, along with all the buttons, and this controller, I suppose. Yeah, really, this controller didn't come with it. This is just one that I had, but I have no use for it. It's just been sitting in a drawer or a bag. And as much as I like this, and as much as I'd like to just have it just because it's such a unique and interesting bit of tech, it's far better to be used by somebody who can actually make use of it. So yes, this is going to be donated, so don't think that this is going to waste. It's going to get some proper use, and it's going to hopefully make someone, or some people, very bloody happy. Massive thanks to Praetorian UK for sending this over and allowing me to show it off to you, and hopefully maybe raise a little bit more awareness about this kind of thing, because we need so much more of this kind of thing. That's unintentional, but fun. And thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, then why don't you honk at that subscribe button, and be sure to check out nintendolife.com for all sorts of lovely Nintendo-related content. Thank you again for watching. Bye-bye.